Hello friends, this is Carmen Paulina Alemán. Welcome back to my YouTube channel called Renaissance Muse. It's called Renaissance Muse because I love dabbling in different things, especially artistic things, and hence the words muse. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about conducting in music. So what is a conductor? So if you're talking about a conductor in music, it is a person who is in front of an orchestra, a choir, a wind band, a handbell group, just a person leading an ensemble, a musical ensemble. I have this shirt. I got this from the LA Phil store and I can link it down below. It's a really cool shirt. I wanted to share more about my shirt, and so this is actually a woman conductor. On August 4th in 1925, Ethel Laginska made history when she walked on stage and became the first woman to conduct at the Hollywood Bowl and took the role of conductor, piano soloist, and composer all in one concert. And then I looked her up and I was like, oh my gosh, her birthday is April 13th. She was born April 13th, 1886. And my birthday is April 12th, 1990. Through college, I would go to the symphony, to the Pacific Symphony in Orange County or the LA Philharmonic, and I would sit right behind the orchestra. And that's called the choral terrace. And if you sit right behind the orchestra, you have you're literally looking at the orchestra. And I would go there constantly. And the way I got into that is because my orchestra professor, he was like, if you guys go to the symphony, I'll reimburse you. And I'd be like, what? And he's like, yeah. And so I was like, okay, and the tickets for students would be like $10 or $20. And I was like, are you serious? I used to think like the symphony was like $100 a person. Like, I mean, they can be up there depending on if you go to opera or any, you know, huge show. But $10, $20 student tickets, I was there constantly. And as I got more and more into it, I would buy the score. The score is like the music, but you see every part. You see like from the flute or the piccolo all the way down to like the double bass and percussion. So that's the orchestral score or the music score. And I would sit right behind the orchestra and just like right before the concert, I would do a bunch of research to the concert. I would choose the concert I would want to go to. Then I would do a bunch of research on the piece. I would watch conductors on YouTube. I'd take notes. I'd be like, I would do this way, and it was like the best when I was in college. That was like, that's how I partied in college. A big fan of a lot of women conductors. The ones that I really enjoy and I love watching. I've never seen any of these women live. But I've seen YouTube videos and I'm such a big fan of Marin Alsop, Alondra de la Parra, she is Mexican American, Joan Falletta, the Antonia Brico. My boss told me about her, and I showed him this shirt and I was like, look. And he's like, have you heard of Antonia Brico? And I did research. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. She was from the 1900s. Actually, I did meet one of them, Emmanuelle Haim. I don't know if I'm saying her last name right, but she was amazing. She also plays the harpsichord, which is like the piano in like box time. It sounds like if you guys have seen the new show Wednesday Addams or Wednesday from Netflix, Danny Elfman uses the harpsichord for the Wednesday theme, and oh my gosh, he's amazing. I'll do a video on composers too because I'm a huge fan of composers. But the harpsichord is like an old piano. It's like the predecessor of the piano. So it was like the first piano, and it sounds very old and just listen to the theme, and that's the harpsichord. I saw her. She did a Baroque concert because the harpsichord was during the Baroque era. And so that's like the genre she specializes in conducting. And so I remember there was like an after party because if you're part of a student group, and I can link that down below too, like Philharmonic Coda group, it's a student group. And you get $20 tickets and you can go to the symphony. Sad because I didn't see her at the party, and I was like, fine. So I was walking to my car, and literally as I'm walking out, she's walking in. I was like, oh, I'm such a big fan. Can I get your autograph? And I'm known for asking a lot of musicians for autographs. And I was like, I'm taking conducting lessons. I'm gonna be a conductor. Like, that's my dream. She's like, be strong. You can do it. And I was like, favorite male conductors. And I'll start off with the ones that I've seen. So I've seen in concert, live in concert, I sit right behind the orchestra. And the ones that I've seen are Gustavo Dudamel. My goodness, he's right now the artistic director, the conductor of the LA Philharmonic Orchestra in Los Angeles. Pablo Eras Casado. He's Spanish. I've seen him in concert. I've never met him. Andre Previn. And Andre Previn was a conductor, or is a conductor, but he was also a film composer when he was younger. And I met him one day, and I remember he was giving a lecture, so it was like the lecture and then the concert, and I went up to meet him, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm such a big fan. I'm pursuing conducting. Is there any advice you can give me? He's like, no, I'm not going to give you advice. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you for your time. You know, I don't have advice because everybody has their own style in conducting, and so you have to find yours. And I was like, that was the best advice ever. Like, so cool. He was such a great guy. The person I saw in concert live, I sat behind the orchestra, was Esa-Pekka Salonen. He's Finnish. And Leonard Bernstein, oh my goodness, Leonard Bernstein. Amazing conductor. Composer. He was a composer, a conductor, and a pianist. His story also, you guys should read about Leonard Bernstein. Amazing, amazing. Oh, and I forgot one that I did see in person that I've always been a fan of. This is Carl St. Clair. And Carl St. Clair conducts the Pacific Symphony in Orange County, California. And I remember I met him one day too, and I was like, I want to be a conductor. Can you give me some advice? And he was like, yeah. He said two things. He was like, really, really, really know your transposition. If you're good at transposing, you're good. And I was like, oh. And I remember in college, oh my gosh, transposing. I would literally cry every time I would have to transpose something. I'm like, is it up a fifth or down a fourth, or is it? I would be so. And so when he said that, I was like, okay, I have to get better at my transposition. And then the other thing he said was, he's like, learn your strings. He's like, what do you play? And I was like, clarinet. He's like, learn your strings. If you learn the strings, you'll be good. And I was like, okay. And then I'll show you also my baton. So I got this baton, or this is my baton case. Mollard is the brand. And I've had this case ever since college. Ever since I was a junior in college. That's when I first took conducting. And when I was a junior, I remember one of my friends, and his name is Rick, and he bought me the case because I ended up buying the baton. And the baton came in like a little plastic case. But he bought me this case because he knew that I was like so into conducting. And he's like, this is an investment. This is for when you're a big famous conductor. And I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So he got me this. So Rick, thank you. I still have it. And so this is my baton. And so the baton, this is like part is wooden. So it's weighted. And so some people like this part to be a little heavier or lighter. And so mine is not as heavy. It's pretty light. And this is 12 inches conducting baton, Mollard. You can see the Mollard brand right here. The little words. Can you see it? And then I've had this baton again since junior in college. I was at what, 18, 20, and I was 21. And recently my daughter got into it. I don't know if you guys can see the little, it's not dead yet though. It's not dead. But, or maybe it is dead. So there's different patterns. There's a 4/4 pattern, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. Then there's a 3 pattern, 1, 2, 3. Then there's a 2 pattern, 1, 2, and there's a 1. And oh, another fun fact is like way back in the day, like Beethoven and Mahler and more, many more composers used to be conductors. So they used to like perform their music. They used to like write the music, but also perform it. And they would be like the conductors. So yeah, it's a great art form if you want to ever try it. You know, go to like a community college and sign up for like a music theory class. And music theory is very important when you're reading a score. Score study is very intense, and it's so much fun though, because you focus on the music theory behind it, the contour, like the shape of the music, the time, like I showed you. There's time changes, meter changes, articulation. There's like staccato, super short, legato, nice and long. Marcato, like a little more. It's not staccato, but it's a little more precise. You're more. It's more defined, you know, it's not smooth. And then there's different planes you're working on, different planes. If you're working on this plane, if you're going on this plane. I hope you enjoyed me talking about conducting and the world of music that I'm a part of. I'll also show you a video after this. It's me conducting Luke's Arunque, and that is a piece by a wind band piece by Eric Whitaker. And I conducted that piece 2016 or 2017. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you have an awesome day. Bye. Thanks for watching.